Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Hamsy's Corner. Well, I'm here in the shop today because the old 9000 needs a little love. I've just been driving this car and driving it, and it takes such little maintenance that it's actually rare for me to have it on the lift. But I've got something been going on under here for a couple of years now, going on 2 years with ripped open CV boots, and as you can see, that boot's torn wide open right there, and it's making an awful lot of noise. And I got to drive into the city today. I have helping a friend out, and I got to drive it into the city, and I wasn't going to take it with this CV joint making a lot of noise. I did this side in the fall. These are a bit of a pain in these cars. Because I'll show you with the replacement part here. Now, as you can see, these always come like this as a big mess. Normally you would have the say you get your cup end on this side, and we got our drive splines over here, ABS ring. Normally you get a CV shaft and it's like one of these that just plugs into the transmission on this side, the transmission side. But on these 9000s, and quite a few Saabs in general, see if we can see it up in here, which is what makes it kind of a pain, is it's way in there. So I gotta leave the cup in the tranny and then try to put that band on, through limited access. But no big deal, no big deal. I don't think I've ever given a tour underneath this car. This car seems to be pretty well liked on my channel. I got a lot of views on it as compared to some of the other cars. You can see my exhaust setup. Yep, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm, if you know, you know. Just a regular stock exhaust on this car, other than, you know what I'm saying right there. Stock resonator or stock replacement resonator. Just a stock replacement muffler. This is probably the biggest hold down to my performance in this car at the moment, I guess you could say. But the trouble is I have this thing pushing, about 18 pounds of boost right now, and I have for the last 80,000 miles or so. But I actually have to detune it. I could go up to 26 pounds of boost, but it becomes a little hard to drive. It likes to be likes to spike and stuff. So I'm going to tear into this axle because I got to still get to the city, smash up this video, and all that. So I'm going to dig into this a little bit, and through the magic of editing, this is going to be mostly taken apart next time you see it. Alright, so I got this all broken down. You got to take the brake caliper, and yeah, I don't mind letting it hang on the brake hose. The caliper really isn't heavy enough. If you were going to hold it up and it was going to drop, then yeah, that'd be a problem. Some people are like, you should never do this, but yeah, it only weighs, it's pretty light caliper, so whatever. It's my car, I'm allowed to do that sort of thing. As you can see, you got to leave that inner cup in the transmission, or actually in the shaft that comes out of the transmission, but same thing. You come over here, and here's the new one. You can see you gotta get the clamp off. Here's the clamp that holds it. You would attack this little piece right here and bend it open, and then you can unclip it. I actually did this. I could reuse this if I wanted to, but we actually have new ones, so I'm going to use a new one. Honestly, I've never actually used this style, so we'll see how it goes. Give it a test out on my own car before I, sell it to somebody. And then here's the old one, and there's that ripped open boot. Now this was this let 2 years or almost 3 years with this boot ripped totally open before this shaft started to make noise, and it still works. It still puts all the power to the ground. Just when I make a full lock turn left or right, you can hear it making a lot of noise, and when I'm on the highway I can hear it making a lot of grinding, so I didn't want that letting go. So yeah, I had to take the caliper, these upper strut bolts, or the strut bolts up top here have to come off. Not a big deal. Probably if you were going to do this in your driveway, a problem that you're going to come into is getting the axle shaft out of the hub. Really, the best way I find is an air hammer with a tip on it. You just got to be careful though, because if it's really frozen in and you use an air hammer, you can ruin the axle. But in this case, it's getting sent out. It's you know, not a problem. But it could be to the people that would rebuild this, because it's a core. You know, must be returned in the original box. That means your old part is going to be remanufactured. They'll take the old one, they'll reuse the shafts, they'll reuse these cups. They'll just put the new wearable pieces in, which in the CV shafts, it's these needle bearings here are what wear out. You can see them there. That's what really goes in a CV shaft. So they'll put a new centerpiece in, and this will be in someone else's car eventually. So I'm gonna throw this tub of grease. They come with a little pouch of CV grease. It looks like this got roughed up in shipping and it split it open, but that's no big deal. It's still totally usable and will go right in. So I'm gonna fill this with grease and slap this together, and we'll get it. Takes me probably take me about 15 minutes. This whole job, if I wasn't filming, would take me about 20 minutes or so. You know, but I do this kind of stuff every day. Like you see, I have the air hammer and all that to get that out. You know, I've done these enough times that I can be prepared for any eventuality. So I'm going to get this together, and we'll see you in a minute. Well, I got this all in here. It was actually a pain. Let's see if I can do this without washing the light. As you can see right there, I got a bandit on it. Getting the rubber boot on that cup with this limited access was a real pain in the butt. I really wore my fingers trying to get it all the way, and you know, all the way on there. And then the band clamp was really a wrestling match. To get in with the special tool to tighten it, and then to crimp the little tabs. Yeah, you can see just above my finger there's some little tabs. To get those around and the excess off was a real pain in the butt. Normally you would use this tool, which is kind of a cheap version. They make really nice versions of these bandit tools, but they can be really hard to find for some reason. So you gotta get in there, you know, with this tool. As you can see, it's pretty big. You know, you gotta get that in there, get a socket on that to tighten it, and then you gotta spin it down like this, and you know, I had to roll the axle and wrestle it. I actually went through a couple of clamps trying to get one as good as this one. So yeah, if you're doing this in your driveway, it's not going to be just to pull the old one out and put the new one in. First thing you really want to do is make sure the kit comes with a bandit clamp. I have bandit clamps here, a couple different types to try. I actually had to use parts from two different bandit clamps, two different styles to be able to get in. I had to use a band to a double wound one with the crimp fitting from a single wound one, and I was able to kind of get in there and get it done. But if you're doing it in your driveway and you're not familiar with one of these tools here, have someone that is do it, because to do that on the ground, not on a nice hoist lift like I've got here, that would really drive you nuts in a driveway. It would driven me nuts in a driveway. So I'm going to get the rest of this together, and this should all be pretty easy. That took me a while. I can't believe how long it took. I'll patch this thing back up, and we'll get a little driving video with this car. I know people have asked me. I've gotten some private messages asking for a boost pull in this car, and we'll see how that goes. You know, so let me get this back together, and through the magic of television, video. All right. Well, we got that axle in. I actually did it last week, but we had all the weather. We had a snowstorm come in, and I couldn't really get a very good video, good boost pull video. So we'll see what happens now. We'll see if I can get something on. We can get through here. See if this translates. See if we can see the gauges. See if I can keep enough traction to make 18 pounds. Like I said before, I've got this car programmed for a 26 psi boost cut, but I find up around that psi stuff like the intercooler wasn't able to put up with it. Just waiting for some traffic. Here we go. All right. Well, wasn't able to make as much pressure on that run because of the traffic we got here. I didn't see what that was in the speedo. I was trying not to cause an accident and film the gauges and stuff, but it gets up and goes. You know, I know when I'm on the highway from say 65 miles an hour to 95 miles an hour, it goes by so fast in this car. You know, it's a wicked sleeper. Wicked sleeper. You can see that mileage, 231,000. Now, like I said, I built this car to put this kind of power down, you know, 80,000 miles ago, and I've just been hammering it, smoking the tires off, you know, just pulling up beside whatever I can pull up beside. So far, the only things that have been faster than this car has been like Evos, like an Evo took me. But that all-wheel drive, you only got front-wheel drive with over 300 horsepower. There's only so much you can put down on the ground. Yeah. It spools up real quick. You know, that automatic, it downshifts once and then just takes off. But you can hear it, nice quiet car for the amount of power, the amount of beatings this thing's taken, and it just keeps pulling. I wish we had a little more open road for me to really get on it for this video, but we're losing light, and I'll do some more on this car. This car will be back in. We'll get another good boost pull. We'll get a good boost pull on the highway. I've got a few more things I want to do. I have some of the Volvo Green Giant injectors I'd like to put into this. I don't know if I'm going to see much of an increase in performance with those injectors. I've pulled the plugs out recently. I had a cracked porcelain on one of the plugs, and the plugs were all nice and dark all across, all 4 cylinders. So I know it's not running lean or anything. Also, I've never heard any pre-ignition in this car. I also run 94 or 93 octane too. I'm pretty faithful about putting the good gas in this car, but pretty much any done-up turbo car, you're gonna wanna run the best gas, the best fuel you can. Sometimes I add some of that NOS octane boost additive, and from my calculations, I think I can pretty reliably brew up like 100 octane, maybe 101 octane fuel. And I do notice some performance gains off of that, but pretty much just the 93 octane. I also like to go to a pump that has dedicated hoses for each grade of fuel. Kind of a habit from my Harley, my biking days. You'd go to a gas station that had one line. Well, 2 of the gallons you're gonna buy is whatever the last guy had. I don't care what they say about it. So at any rate, we're getting into the trafficy part of town, and it's getting too dark out to really see these gauges do anything else. I think we had maybe 16 or 17 pounds. Well, let's see if we can do one more. Let me back off. I ain't got nobody behind me. Woohoo! It's just hard to keep this thing going straight when I get on it. Torque steer. That's something you learn with the front wheel drive with a lot of power. You learn how to handle torque steer. So maybe I'll do some, maybe in another video we'll do some driving shots. Maybe I'll get someone to record me going around some corners and broiling some rubber off of these tires. This thing just loves to eat tires. But maybe part of that's my my right foot. So anyways, guys, until next time, keep it out of the cabbage.